What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Mythic Plus. Today we are going to be going over the route that I have used for Priory this season. I know you've probably seen some of these before, but we're going to go through them anyway. So this was the route that I saw on Yoda's video the other day. He actually ended up going right side and doing Forge Master Damien, which is, fine route. It ends up working out. But the only thing that I did notice was that when you have Dual Maul with the boss, with Dale'Cry, Dual Maul will be shooting fireballs at people, and a lot of times people will just kind of forget that you need to interrupt Battlecry, and people will interrupt the fireballs and just not have a kick for Battlecry. Battlecry goes off significantly more on this side, and the 50% damage reduction absolutely trucks your tank. If it goes off and then Dual Maul casts at somebody, he is sometimes able to just one-shot somebody. So sometimes I think maybe going the usual way from last season, going the left-hand side and then doing Emberlands with the boss can be a little bit more beneficial. So we'll keep both those in mind. I'll link them both in the description below, so pick which one you like better. But for the sake of being a little bit new, since I already have this pretty much the same route posted on my channel, you can always go ahead and look at that. We will go through this newer route instead. So off the rip, we're going to run past all these footmen, get a little bit of aggro on those, and drag everything, including Suleiman and this priest sharpshooter footman combo, over into this corner over here. This is where you want to stack as a tank, and the DPS should be not too far away from you, just to make sure that the sharpshooters will jump in. I promise you they will jump in. They stand out there and they shoot you for a bit, and then they get bored, and then they'll jump on top of you. Make sure that you try and get all the stops on these footmen. Blinds work, stuns work, knockups work, any kind of like Typhoon, Ursul's sort of vibe, anything like that will interrupt those. I would hesitate to move too much as a tank just because you don't want to move and have Suleiman smack you across the room. Go ahead and move if you are something like a DK. You have what I'm blanking on the movement speed ability, but they have that ability that prevents them from being knocked around. If you're Demon Hunter, you have Infernal Strike, something that gets you back to the boss ASAP. If you can also even like bubble taunt as a paladin, which I've done before. You bubble taunt and then just make sure that you are moving the mobs out of the defend, and then Suleiman can't smack you around. You go back to your position once that time is over. Once we kill Suleiman, we will trigger Shaymail coming down, so she should come down these right hand side staircases if you kill the boss over here, and then we will go ahead and chain pull her into the priest conjurer sharpshooter pack over here. Once those die, chain pull her into the next pack right here. Also, if you are a paladin or a priest, you can go right here, just on this little corner right here, go ahead and click the buff. That will give you some little bit of extra damage as you're going through the dungeon. Sorry about the scrolling there. We will go up the stairs on the right hand side, skip the sharpshooter. You can skip it either way. If he's padded over this way, you can go ahead and skip him, and if he's all the way up the stairs over here, you can also skip him. You don't need a mind soothe, you don't need stealth, you don't need anything like that. Just wait for him to path enough or far enough in one direction. Haven't seen anyone mess it up this season yet. We'll grab this pull over here, and the reason that we're able to do this is just because there's one priest. I know people were really scared about doing the same pull on the other side, but that's because there's a priest and a conjurer on the side, which can be a bit sketchy. There's also just a lot of footmen and sharpshooters, which are just pretty chill. So very nice pull here. We'll get basically the one kick that we need to worry about is the priest, so all the kicks can go into him, and this pull should go down pretty easily. This patrol, conjurer, priest, sharpshooter, links, pretty easy pull as well. Just make sure the greater heals don't go off, or any kind of the heals, and then any extra interrupts can go there. This Forge Master guy feels significantly easier than last season. He is just, I don't know, last season it felt like he was absolutely trucking, and this season I have had no issues with him. So he should go down pretty easy. Dodge swirls, that sort of thing. Once we take Damien out, Emberlands will run over. She's going to run at this angle right here where my mouse is going, so she'll run past the footman over here on the side, and then she will run past the priests. So we'll go ahead and grab her with this 2-pack. You can cleave her down, and that will be that. You just kind of thread the needle here. There should be so this patrol will be going in this U-shaped formation here, so you just want to thread the needle and skip here. You don't need like a mind soothe or any kind of skip here. You can just run past. Usually you want to stay like on the edge of the grass and that will make sure that you are pretty safe. Obviously, as long as the footman, you want to skip when he's like over here if possible. So we'll go ahead and run into the first boss. Just make sure that Battle Cry, someone is always kicking Battle Cry. You can be the all-time kicker as tank, and then any other kicks can go into Tainer. If you're a prop paladin, Avenger Shield will do a ton of work on this fight. Battle Cry is priority. Going into the next half of the dungeon, this is all going to look very, very familiar, but we're going to run up into this room. If you lusted the first pull, which you probably should have, you should have lust up back by now, so you can do a big pull in this. This pull 7 is pretty spooky, so make sure that you lust on this. You can pull into the center of the room, which has been working pretty well for me, or you can pull back outside by the stairs just to line of sight things, or if you have a way to tag things from far range. And then the rest of this will just be chaining in various ways. You can do like a double pull here, single pull here, chain it, anything like that works. Just try and be efficient. Make sure that you are killing probably more than 5 targets, ideally 6 or something at the same time. Some of these mobs will go down faster than others. As you can see, the paladins have about 311 million HP on an 11, and the conjurers only have 175. So the conjurers and the priests should be pretty easy to take out, and then about half their health pool is deducted from the paladins. So you should have a couple paladins and templars left over after you kill everything else. So go ahead and do the Baron Brompike boss. We'll go ahead and do him. And something that I see a lot of people on Pugs do is they rush to soak for some reason. You really don't need to rush to soak. Go ahead and have the swirly hammers come out. Go ahead and wait for the castigator shield to go off. Make sure everyone's topped up. Make sure everyone's safe. And then you can soak. It's not going to be a rush, especially if you have someone with an invulnerability or something like that. On my prop paladin, if there's ever a 5 soak, I always bubble and soak all 5. I typically don't expend that on a 3 just because 3 is pretty easy. It's only a couple debuffs on the rest of the party. The debuff on the tank doesn't really matter. It doesn't really hurt enough to warrant even worrying about. So yeah, Brompike goes down pretty quick. People have some experience with him too because he was last season. So we'll go into this 6-pack. Any kicks should just go onto the priest. There's nothing else to kick here. Pretty simple pull. And then we will go into pull 13 here. Grab this 2-pack. Run into the room just slightly so that we can tag the Mage, Templar, and Light Spawn. And then I usually like to pull them outside on the I think it's right here on the stairs, something like that. There's like a little fire thing that you just stand behind, and the mobs will come to you. The priority kicks in this entire room, things that you cannot let go off, are usually Fireball Volley is the #1 killer of everybody. So don't let that go off ever. And then obviously stop the priest from using Greater Heal because that just increases the time that you need. If anyone died up to this point or they die on this first pull, you can always go ahead and go into pull 14, tag this Pat, and there should be a Blessing of the Sacred Flame right around here. You can refresh your damage buff that you got at the beginning over here. So yeah, just pull this room however seems appropriate to you. If people want to do Brompike, go ahead and do that. You can also do this after the boss if your lust timing is different. So if you have lust coming up in, I don't know, a minute and a half or something like that, you can go ahead and start the boss. If you've cleared all this, go ahead and lust boss phase 2 and then run back down here. Might not be as efficient, but sometimes it ends up working if you're really close on the timer and you just want to expend lust. But yeah, I usually like to do pull 14 here, then pull 15, and then do Brompike. As soon as his priests are dead, then we go ahead and chain into this next one with the other priest, and then we go ahead and chain into the next one with the other priest. Usually the priests will die pretty quickly, so if you run into the boss with a few footmen alive, that's more than fine. Just make sure that you don't stun them too much. Wait for them to get pretty low, like 1%, 2% low, and then stun them, kill them on boss, and then they won't explode and do their AoE damage. It is important to note that a lot of people don't know that the footmen do some kind of AoE damage when they die, so make sure that you keep that in mind. If you kill 3 footmen at a time, you are going to take a pretty substantial amount of damage. And again, they don't do that if they are stunned as they die. So, good to know. Priory Merprey, if you have like Bop or something like that, any kind of immunity or physical immunity, any kind of defensives, just make sure that you don't get one-tapped by these neophytes. They do a lot of damage. And that is Priory. That is what I have been doing for Priory. Again, you could do something like this. The right side does work. As you can see, the count is pretty much the same. It's just which boss you want to do with Balecry. That's really the only variation that I've seen this season. So, yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next. Thank you again for the support, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.